You have any advice for somebody getting their first car?
Take care of it and pay attention to the road. And don't drink and drive. And don't do anything I did. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any advice other than be smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Also, if I'm on the road, get out of my way. Don't drive with your blinker on. It's stupid. It makes me think less of you. It makes everyone think less of you.
Yep.
It just saves us a minute and a half.
Nice. All right, what's that? Oh, that's your knee. Okay.
Oh, is it?
Watch out for that, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do shake my leg a lot, so I'll try to avoid that.
Okay. All righty, Cole. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back.
We're podcasting again.
Yeah. We haven't done that together for a long time.
Nope. It's been many a moon.
Hi, this is Cole Weisz. I'm here to talk about my first car to Elijah Kirby. You and I met, I think I was 17 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of before we probably met before that, but we really started hanging out in the summer of my junior year of high school.
Okay.
After I got back from South Dakota. You probably wouldn't remember my first car, but
I don't.
because I had it when you and I were still when we first met.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't have it for long after you and I first met.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, let's get right to it.
Okay.
What was your first car?
It was a 1978. I believe it was a 1978 Volare, Plymouth Volare station wagon.
There is a new kind of American small car, Volare. Beautiful and so comfortable. Volare has a special suspension that gives you a smooth, comfortable ride, like a big car. You'll love it. Volare.
Wagon.
Yeah, they had regular Plymouth Volares that weren't station wagons, but this one was a station wagon.
Yeah, I tried looking up the Volare and a few different versions. I like the wagon. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine a high school kid would really like a station wagon. I dig it now.
Yeah,
But what were your thoughts at the time?
I didn't care. I didn't care if I got my driver's license or not. I just rode my bike and ran everywhere. And
You didn't walk, you just ran.
I did. I did a lot of running. I was in track in high school and stuff. And so,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I I ran long distance. So I ran everywhere, or I would ride my bike. And every now and again, I had friends with cars, so they could give me a ride.
Right.
So I didn't get my license till I was like 17, and I probably had that car for about a year and a half. I think about when I was 18 in the winter, right before the winter, is when I dropped the tranny on it.
Ah.
Yeah. So, but I really liked it. The as far as this station, I didn't care what kind of car I had. I just wanted a car that I could use. And ever since then, I've always had smaller cars, which is a pain in the ass. What I liked about that was I would go to Huff Hills every weekend, at least once, but normally twice. So, and I would bring friends with me. And the nice thing about that Volare was you could the station way. Well, just the Volare was it had like bench seats, not bucket seats, benches,
Yeah.
and you could legally fit 6 people in there.
Uh-huh.
But honestly, you could fit like 8.
Yeah, throw them
At least in the seats. You could get
okay.
4 in the front, 4 in the back, and then you could also throw people in the area where the station area. But normally we'd have our snowboards and all that stuff back there.
Cool.
A bag for a change of clothes or whatever after we were done.
Yep.
So, But yeah, I don't know. I actually like the fact that it was so big. It was a huge pain in the ass on gas, though.
Yeah.
But gas back then was like what, under $1. It was like
Right.
79 cents.
God dang.
So
Yeah.
we're
But
old.
even then,
this
people were
was in like 1997, 98. No, 90, 98, 99, 99.
Okay. So a 20-year-old vehicle.
Yeah, it was about 20 years old.
Is this the car that you took your license or your test with?
No, it wasn't. I used someone else's car. It wouldn't have passed the inspection.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe it would have passed the inspection.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you get this car from?
it was my grandma's at first. She bought it brand new, like
Cool.
the year that it came out, and she kept it for a few years. And my first car was it was my grandma on my pop's side.
Okay.
And my first car was actually my mom's second car. I guess she had something called a Plymouth Duster before that, and she bought the car from my grandma, and it was hers for quite a long time. I don't remember if she had something in between, but at the time I got this, she had a Jeep. So I don't know what kind of Jeep she had, but it was from the brand Jeep, and that was a stick. That's what they tried to teach me to learn how to drive on. I was really bad at grinding the gears and stuff. I kind of understood how to drive stick, but I didn't really know how to drive stick until I was like in my early 20s.
Okay.
But so they tried to teach me on that, and then they wound up teaching me in the station wagon. But I think I borrowed one of my aunt's cars to pass my driver's license test.
First try?
No. Oh, yes. The written test, that one took me twice. But the actual skills test, what do they call that when you drive?
I don't know.
Yeah, the actual driving portion of the test, that was the first time.
Yeah, right on.
Dude, I don't think I ever told you this, but my ex-girlfriend, her kid was about 15. It was time for him to take his driver's test. So I go and I see him. I go, hey, how'd you do on your driver's test? He goes, bad. I go, why bad? Did you fail? He goes, yeah. I go, how'd you do that? He goes, I hit a car.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He was doing the parallel parking. He backed into a car.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of anyone doing that on the driver's test.
No.
But it's funny because it was better him than me. 'Cause I'm a prick. Sorry, I had a side story. I guess we got sidetracked for a minute there.
No.
But yeah, so anyway, my mom wasn't using that Jeep anymore, so she had the car parked at the construction company, the yard that my uncles and my pop and my grandpa own a construction company. So that car had just been sitting in the yard for a few years, and then they gave it to me. We had to get some mice out of places in there, and it didn't smell the greatest at first.
Ugh.
But it served its purpose.
Right. You turn on the heat and you just smell like mouse shit.
That's kind of where they were hiding, was in the
Yeah.
air ducts.
Yeah, go ahead. Pause. Take that off. Take it all off.
Sorry. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Yep. Carry on.
Well, what else would you like to know?
Well, pretty much the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
All right. So
So you got it in 98 during high school.
yeah, I would think 98. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Well, I hit a few cars. Two of them. One of them I was on a date. We went to the movie theaters. What's that? Grand Theaters.
Yeah.
And we got out of the movie, and I was backing out of the parking space, and I hit a car, and just a parked car.
Yeah.
And yeah, that wasn't good. I didn't get a second date.
Oh.
I had to leave my information on the windshield. They weren't there. I could have probably just driven off, but then I would have looked even worse to the girl.
Right.
But, and then another time I was in Mandan.
Or you would have looked badass.
Yeah, maybe. But I think I'd have felt like an asshole. I already felt like an asshole. I would have felt like a bigger asshole.
Yeah.
So, and then another time in Mandan, I think that M&H on Main.
Yeah.
Is that an M&H?
Yeah.
I backed into a car with people in it, and this is a big metal. This station wagon was a big metal car.
Yeah.
You know, so newer cars are all made with that plastic fiberglass bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I fucked that guy's door up bad.
Yeah.
And he gets out. He's like, I just bought this thing 3 days ago.
Oh.
So angry with me. And I understand, you know, but I was just an idiot back then. I was a dumb kid who didn't pay attention to what he was doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to think
you had a
that-
mirror, right?
No, not by that time. So, like I said, this car, my mom had it when she got it. She got it before I was born. There was a lot of damage done to it, and a lot of it was done by my brother and I. So by the time I got it, there were teeth marks imprinted on the dashboard.
What?
So yeah, I don't know why, but my brother just decided he was going to bite the dashboard, chew on the dashboard, and he bit it so hard that he imprinted teeth marks in the dashboard that never left. They were there until the day the car was useless, you know? And another time, I don't know if it was him or me, but up also on the dashboard, but you know, closer to the windshield, we left like a silver crayon sitting there on a hot day, and the crayon melted, and it all went down into like where music would have come out of. I don't know what those little holes were, but that silver waxy crayon stuff, you know, they cleaned the wax out, but you know, the color was there forever.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah. Custom.
Yeah. So in the front, like I said, legally you could only have 6 people in there because there was only 6 seat belts, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. I sent you some pictures of the interior.
Yeah.
But the seat belts are new. Like I could tell that they installed their own seat belts because they were plastic. These had big metal buckles.
Right.
And if it would get hot in there and you were buckling your seatbelt and you accidentally touched like
your gut
an
or
exposed part of your gut,
Yeah.
you would burn yourself.
Yeah.
Like they would get super, super hot. And one of the seatbelts in the back, you know how a seatbelt, you pull it out and you let it go and it'll retract.
Sure.
Well, one of them never retracted.
Okay.
So to fix that, we just tied a knot in it.
Okay.
So it would, you know, you could get it over a person who wasn't too big.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a shoulder seatbelt?
Only in the front, only in the driver's area and the passenger. The rest were just lap seatbelts. So
Okay.
if you got into a wreck and it was bad enough, I'm sure someone would wind up paralyzed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or teeth marks right in the dash.
Yeah. Well, no, because where those teeth marks was in the passenger seat. So, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he placed them well. Yeah, by that time, the mirror had fallen off or been pulled off, and one of the back then, you know, like they didn't have automatic car. You know, you didn't just push a button and the windows came down. You had to roll the window up. One of those had in the back seat had been pulled off. Yeah, there was holes in the carpet, and I don't know. It wasn't a gorgeous car.
Right. By the time it gets to you, it's pretty warped.
Yeah, the outside, you know, they put salt on the street. Well, sand and salt on the streets. You know, it was an all metal car. There was, you know, big patches of rust in certain areas, certain panels of the car.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. One of the taillights had gotten a hole in it. I don't know how that happened, but there was a hole in it, and they didn't make replacements for it anymore. It had happened, you know, in the mid 90s or something, early 90s. So they weren't making replacements for that that type of tail light anymore. So my pop just took red tape.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and covered it.
Yep.
Yeah. There was only one dent, really. And that was because my mom, I must have gotten it from her. She, you remember, you don't remember because you didn't live here.
No.
You were in Williston at the time. There used to be up north by Century High School, a place called the Snoopers Bump and Tilt.
Right, I've heard about it.
It was an arcade. So that was the tilt part. And then the bump was because they had bumper cars in there. And my mom backed into a big pole there hard enough that she actually put a dent in the rear bumper. Mm-hmm. And that was the only dent, though. So I didn't cause any dents with the shit that I hit.
Yeah.
I caused dents in other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I guess probably my fondest memories of the car was, as I said earlier, taking it down to Health Hills once, maybe twice a weekend, and just loading it up with a bunch of snowboards and bringing a bunch of people down with me.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
How was it in the winter?
Not great. Every car I've had since then has been better, but I mean, and I had a Honda Civic, and this is North Dakota, so snow gets deep.
That I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that Honda Civic for a while, and that Honda Civic somehow did better. I think this was rear wheel drive, so it wasn't great in the winter, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I would have expected it to.
Yeah. Right on.
Have you ever driven a rear wheel
Yeah.
drive?
Yeah. You slide all over the place.
Oh
when
my
you go.
goodness,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's tough.
My brother borrowed me a Cadillac one time in the winter because after the Honda Civic, I hit a deer and I needed a temporary car before I got a new one. My brother wasn't using this Cadillac, and that was rear wheel drive, and that was actually much worse than the station wagon. I really hated that.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a tape player?
I did not. I had a radio. Oh, this is funny. I had a radio and would play FM and radio or AM, and that was about it. If I wanted to listen to music, I had a big book of CDs, and I would have a Walkman in the seat or right next to me.
Sure.
On that big bench seat, I had this shitty little speaker, probably just a little bit wider than a soda can at the top, and it was probably about maybe 3 inches wide or 3 inches long. Mm-hmm. And you would plug the Walkman into that speaker, and it would play through that, and it wasn't great. And if there were people in the back seat, they really couldn't
hear nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, they really couldn't hear much of anything, and I don't care. I was in the front, so I could hear. I'm a selfish person. That was it for as far that was that. That
what
was
are you
the
jamming to at the time?
Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you remember me from back then. I was always into that metal shit.
Yeah.
Now I kind of got a bigger taste in music, but back then it was definitely it was probably a lot of Sepultura, maybe Slipknot or something. You know, just I don't know, Deftones at that point. So yeah, a lot of metal.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, in that car, I probably should have been playing some dad rock or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, it just made more sense
because
for the look.
Because of the station wagon.
Right.
Yeah, like Jimmy Buffett or some bullshit.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Volare.
Yeah, I guess a lot of times I just would load it up with fishing gear. I did all the same dumb shit that we all did in high school back then, like the popular shit to do in high school, like just go and meet up with people at Thunder Alley or something, like bowling in the dark with black lights. You'd go there, and I wasn't much of a bowler. I'd shoot a lot of pool. You know, I couldn't go to a bar and shoot pool. That was the only place you could really do that, was at a bowling alley and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't have anything for kids like that. That was about the only thing really marketed towards teenagers.
The bowling alley.
When I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't much for us to do. You had to find, in the winter you could go snowboarding, you could do fishing in the summer, and I was never good at it, and I didn't do it a lot,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, there was not a whole lot of stuff for us to do. So that's where you just wound up. Mm-hmm. Meet up with people. People would pile into your car. You'd go somewhere. You'd pile into someone else's car. I don't know. I guess I remember specifically a party that you were at. I think it was on like 17th Street. I remember the girl's name, but I don't want to say it on here.
You could say it. I'll bleep it.
Okay. Ria's house.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember taking the car over there. I could put like a 6-pack in there because you used to think that was a lot of beer when you were a kid.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah. Don't drink and drive. I do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, we did some of that as dumb kids.
Yeah, well, that's North Dakota high school kids, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's just the kind of shit we were doing back then.
You weren't a main dragger?
I was not a main dragger. I couldn't justify driving around all night with no goal in sight.
Yeah, I never understood the goal. It was just to go to one end and then
Turn around and
go back.
And then what do you do? How do you meet up with people? Hang out the side of your window and shout at them?
Yeah,
It's dumb.
I know.
It's really stupid to me.
It is.
But I mean, I guess some people really enjoyed it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wound up going a few times with somebody else, and that is what they would do. And then you just yell at other people, and I'm sitting in the back seat, like, bored as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and whoever would have been in the back seat of my car would have been super bored because they couldn't hear the music.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome metal
Call
playing
back.
and a little speaker.
Call back to earlier.
I bought an economy car, nice little car. Of course, I gave up big car ride.
I bought a smaller car, gave up a lot of passenger room, but with the prices going up and up, you've got to give up and up.
Well, I didn't give up. I bought this Volare 4-door. I got the big car ride he gave up, the room for 6 he gave up, plus the compact economy they didn't give up. So why didn't they get a Volare? I give up.
Don't give up. For just $39.26, get a new Plymouth Volare.
Don't give up, get a Volare.
You ever do any road trips in the wagon?
I probably, but I can't really think of it, you know? Mm-hmm. It wasn't really the best highway car, for sure.
Right.
You know, maybe ran out to, like, New Salem for one reason or another. Actually, I know for a fact I went out to New Salem a couple of times. I knew somebody out there. But nothing, like, crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I ever really took it to Fargo. By the time I was going to, like, Fargo and Minot and stuff with you and, like, Williston, I had gotten that Mazda, that black Mazda that you remember me having. Yeah, I only really had the station wagon for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, probably a year and a half.
So what happened to it?
I was coming back from, I believe it was Huff Hills.
Okay.
It might have been a friend that I had that lived in Mandan, but I think it was Huff Hills. And you know where that McDonald's is on the strip?
Yeah.
So I was turning the corner. I was making a right. The speed limit is 40 miles an hour there. Mm-hmm. And I was turning the corner. I was getting up to 20, and I was like, something feels sluggish. It's not getting up to 40. And I kind of put my foot down on the gas, and then everything just stopped. Like, I had dropped the tranny. I coasted just past the old Speedway, that restaurant they had there. Coasted just past their parking lot. Nothing was working. I put my foot down on the gas. The engine was revving, but nothing was going. So I was kind of just parked on the side of the strip in the emergency lane. And then I realized I could put it in reverse. So I reversed it into the Speedway's parking lot. And
You reverse a lot.
I
and
had
hit things.
Well, I didn't hit anything this time. But I did. I reversed it into the parking lot of the Speedway. I don't remember how I got home. I don't remember.
You didn't drive it backwards all the way home?
No, it would have been a sight to see.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I called someone or if I had a friend that was like, like if we were caravanning back from Huff Hills and someone drove me. I really don't remember that, but wound up leaving it in the Speedway parking lot. When I told my pop that he went out, he took me out there in his pickup and he tied a tow rope to it. And that was the first time I ever got towed in a car. He's like, "Hey, just let the line stay tight, you know?
Right.
Don't let the car get too close to me. You know, don't ride your brakes, but if you start getting too close, hit your brakes, you know?"
Yeah. I've done that the first time. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I bet you were just
I was
white-knuckling it.
super nervous because it was the first time I'd ever done that. And, you know,
Yeah.
my pop isn't, he's pretty much like, "Hey, it's got to get done this way," you know, especially when it's like something important like that, like don't hit the back of my pickup, you know, that kind of thing. But, he's really calmed down since then. But back then it was like, oh, okay, this is a stern person.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to fuck up now.
And you didn't.
I didn't.
Nice.
Other than dropping the tranny out of the car that I had.
Yeah.
So
It seems to be kind of common for all the guests I've had to have their first vehicle for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just how kids drive their vehicles poorly, or the vehicles are kind of old and poor to begin with.
I was going to ask you this. I was going to ask you, is most of the other people, are their cars hand-me-downs?
Yeah, for the most part.
I would
so
think
far
so.
they all were.
All right. Yeah, I would think so. And
Right.
so whatever vehicle you're in.
Yeah, I haven't had that little rich kid come in yet. Like, mommy and daddy got me this brand new Ferrari or something.
Oh, geez. Well, I don't think anyone around here has got
North Dakota, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe it's just the wear and tear of it. Plus, you're young. You got way too, especially if you're a guy, you've got way too much fucking testosterone. You're just pedal to the metal everywhere you go.
Right.
You know, like I said, I was a dumb kid. You know, I wasn't paying attention when I was backing up. I hit cars. You know, you know, I was a stupid little kid and just too much testosterone in this body that didn't know how to handle it. So everywhere I was going, I was just, you know, I was speeding everywhere, just doing
Speeding in a wagon.
Yeah, speeding in a wagon. Fortunately, it wasn't a paddy wagon. You know? Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what happened to that car. And I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was cool. It had this interior, like, well, first of all, the paint job was really cool. You can't see this in the pictures, any of the pictures that I sent you.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it was this green, kind of this a darker green, you know, but if you got up close to it, it had that finish where like it looks like there's sand underneath it.
Oh yeah,
like how they had on all the boats, all the boats had, you know, and so you could see these little sparkles coming out when you'd get close to it, especially in the sunshine. I really thought that was cool. But then on the inside, they had this like fake wood. You remember that fake wood they put on like the Ataris?
Yeah.
Like the video game systems.
Yeah.
They had that kind of like in the steering wheel. And then, yeah. It was in different spots in the dashboard and different parts of the car. They had like on the window handles to roll the windows up and down, like just a tiny little speck of that like a little round piece of that fake wood and stuff. It's super tacky, but for some reason it was so cool also.
Right.
You know?
Did you have a window handle on the back hatch?
The back hatch? No, I didn't. Like on the rear view, on the rear view.
The back
like
wagon
where
door.
the trunk would be.
Right.
So it would open up and down like a suicide door.
Okay.
But from the back. There was just a handle there. You just pull the handle and that would open up and down, but the window itself wouldn't open.
Okay.
The whole thing would just open up. It started getting like not stuck, but it was getting like harder to close the longer I had it. Yeah. You know, which I guess is a good thing. It wouldn't just fall down on your head or nothing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you just pull a handle and it would open. Fortunately, that thing never broke, that handle. Yeah. I thought for sure that at one point it would, but never did. So I was still able to load stuff into the back.
Yeah. Nice.
That was another thing too. Like you're asking about dumb things that I might have done. Like with that car, I would always go over and mow my my grandpa and grandma's lawn, and then they'd be like, "Oh, hey, can you take these clippings to the wherever you throw away grass clippings at?" I think it used to be at like Saratoga Park. There was another one at that park on Century, and one time I threw the grass clippings in there, and I had something else to do, and went and did that, and I just kind of forgot they were back there, and I got into the car the next day, and nothing wrong, and it's the middle of the summer too, and then the next day I'm like, "What's that smell?"
Oh,
I drove around, I couldn't figure out what that smell was for like a full day and a half.
Because it's all the way back
It's all the way back there. Why would I look all the way back there?
Well, you don't look backwards anyway.
Yeah. Apparently not. Yep. And a few days later, I'm like, ew, that's what the smell is. And then I took them out and threw it away, but the smell stayed in because some of the grass had become liquid and like seeped outside of the bag, and just pretty gross. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you call a pussy mobile. Yeah. just drowning in the chicks.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
Was this after that date that didn't work?
I honestly can't remember. I know it happened. I just can't remember. Chronologically, I don't know which order that happened in.
Right.
Probably before. Mm-hmm. I think that when I hit that car in the movie theater, that was probably when I was about 18, and I didn't have the car. By the time I was 19, I no longer had that car. I didn't name it, but there was a nickname for the car.
Oh, okay.
The car was nicknamed before I had it. My grandpa on my mom's side. My mom got the car from my grandma on my pop's side, but my grandpa on my mom's side nicknamed it the Green Hornet.
Oh, cool.
Like the
Green
guy,
Hornet,
like the guy from the comic books or the pulp comics or whatever you call them.
Yeah, but that car was way cooler.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it was.
Station
What was that car called? I thought that had a name too.
I don't know. There was Kato was the sidekick.
Yeah,
I didn't have a Kato.
No,
I don't know if that car it would be something Wasp or Hornet related, right? The Stinger or something.
Let me check real quick.
Yeah.
Black Beauty.
Oh, okay.
That was a black car. That's funny.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. So you had a nickname.
Yeah.
The Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet.
I like it.
Yeah.
Volare.
I didn't maintain that car very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that second car I didn't really maintain very. I started getting a lot better by the third. You know.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good about keeping air in the tires. I'd let them get too low. Wasn't good about getting oil changes regularly.
Right.
That was one of the only cars I've ever had that I did my own oil changes on, because I could actually get under that car.
Yeah, those older cars are nice.
All the other cars I couldn't get under them.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get a drip pan under. So, and like, I didn't really do the oil changes by myself. I did my pop would tell me what to do.
Nice.
And then help me do it. So I could get under it, lay on the ground, get a drip pan under there. Then we'd open the hood. He would tell me where to look so I could pull the plug, and then the oil would drip into the pan and stuff. And, you know, I could put the plug back in, and I could change my own oil in that car. But I didn't do it regularly, and I didn't keep up on it enough. So that was something I really wish I would have known. I guess I knew, but I didn't really practice.
Yeah, that kind of, I don't know, something about that age where, you know, you get the car and you just expect it to run.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really, it's not put in you all the maintenance that you have to do, all the upkeep.
So it's just like anything mechanical. You got to keep an eye on it and do what needs to be done to keep it running. But I wasn't smart enough at the time to do it, or disciplined enough, I guess.
If you got the chance to own that vehicle again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was looking at them like about 2 or 3 years ago, like looking at them online and stuff. And yeah, none of them are really exactly what I would want.
Right.
Like, they're just far beyond gone.
Nothing compared to the Volare.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
The Volare.
Volare?
I believe. The Volare.
Yeah.
I believe that's how you say it. But yeah, I was looking at this car online about 2 or 3 years ago. It's either they're complete crap, you know, they're in basically the same or worse condition as
unless
mine
it's been
when
in somebody's garage for like 40 years.
Yeah, or they're pristine and they cost a lot. Like,
oh, sure.
Not like, you know, I'm sure there's newer cars you could buy but you know, for that would cost more, but you know, it's too much more than I would want to spend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, absolutely. Although it would be better in a different state where it doesn't snow as much, you know.
That car took a dump. Mm-hmm. Were you out of a vehicle for a while?
I was. And as I said, at that point, I didn't really care so much. I did, like, I was...
Oh, that's right.
I was still able to, like, I was able to, what, you know where I lived in, like, as far as how close I was to school and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could walk to school. It was really only, like, 5.5 blocks away.
Or run.
I could run or ride my bike.
Yeah.
And I had I had, like I said, I had friends that had cars. So
yeah,
if I
that helps.
and by that point, we were all pretty much going to the same spot, wasting time the same way. We were all either going to like shows, so we could all pile into a car and go watch some bands play and stuff, or we were just wasting time outside the Come and Go with each other.
Yeah,
and and so I could always walk to the Come and Go. It wasn't that far. You remember that house that Dusty had over across the street from the post office?
yeah, right on A.
Yeah, we would wind up there a lot, and that was like half a mile
Yeah,
away from my house, maybe a little, like 3/4 of a mile. That's not a big walk. That's not a big ask to do.
no,
You know,
your
so-
parents are right in the center of town, and at the time there wasn't much up north or all around. So
Yeah.
nice.
So it was probably a little while before I got another car, but not too long. Maybe like 6 to 8 months.
How'd you get the next car?
I don't know. I think it was super cheap. I know that. So I put down. I would suspect that I put down as much as I could, and my parents helped me out with the rest.
Cool.
And then after that, I've always paid my own cars and stuff. Like the next car I got was like a $2,000 car. I'd probably maybe, $500 or something. I probably put that down, and then my parents probably paid for the rest. And
Were you working?
shortly after I got because I there was no jobs I could get that I wouldn't have needed a car to get to
Yeah.
at that point. So like shortly after I got that car, I got my first job in town. I had the job down in South Dakota where I was lifeguarding.
Oh.
So that's how I had money saved up and stuff. But shortly after I got that, I got the job at Denny's.
Okay.
And so I was bussing and washing dishes. So I would drive that new car down there.
Your second car is a what?
It was a Mazda 626.
What year?
I don't know. 1996,
Okay.
probably.
Pretty new. Quite the upgrade, though.
Yeah. Maybe it was 1992. It was probably 92.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like,
But you were
Like-
saying like you didn't like the smaller cars?
no, that's just kind of what I didn't like the fact that I couldn't do as much with them. Like, if I wanted to put a snowboard in that Mazda's trunk, I couldn't do it.
Right.
It wouldn't shut. I would have to throw it in the back seat after that,
Couldn't fit 6 people in there comfortably.
No, I could probably fit 5 in there.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how comfortable that would be,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I disliked the smaller cars. They all did better in the winter and stuff, and they ran better and stuff, easier to take care of. They all had CD players after that.
Yeah.
It was just I couldn't like do out of town stuff. Although I never went out of town in the station way. Well, I did like camping trips and stuff, but yeah, I couldn't really pack it full of a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Like now I got a super small car, but I got a trailer, so I can pack up a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know, ups and downs of both. It was not a modern car at all, but it had a lot of room, and it had character.
It
did
had
like that.
character.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here's another thing about those. I forgot about this other piece of damage. So those Volares from that year all had these plastic. What's the gate in the front?
The grill?
The grill. They all had plastic grills.
Oh.
And before I had it, the grill had, I don't know if my mom hit something in it or if somebody threw a rock at the car, but like there's a big chunk of it missing. So my pop just pulled the whole thing out, and he took this iron gate, like a heavy iron, and he installed that in there.
Really?
Yeah, so the fucker looked like a monster.
Cool.
Like it looked like something you would take to a demolition derby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
I
gnarly.
think he spray painted it black too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So had more. It really did have more character than every car I've ever had since, because they all look exactly the same. You know, I could get my car right now confused with. I could park it in the mall's parking lot or a Target's parking lot or Walmart parking lot and walk by, 7 other cars I could get confused with.
Yep.
Just going in and out.
I did that the other day. My car was right next to another white car, and I started going to the other car, and I was like, "What the fuck? There's something else inside here." Like, yeah,
and you
I felt
feel like
an
a
ass.
huge dipshit after, but it's really not your fault because they don't make. There's no character in cars today.
Yeah,
yeah.
I should put an iron fence on my
an iron grill. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun while it lasted. It just didn't last very long.
No.
So
No, they don't.
Comfort. In a big car, you expect it. But now you can find it in a new kind of small American car. Volare. Beautiful.
I don't know. I didn't have a lot of getting pulled over in that car stories. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I probably got a speeding ticket or two at some point. But there was a different time when in a different car that maybe my 5th car. One night I was out with this girl that I knew, and for one reason or another, we'd just stop at red lights and then just decide that we were waiting too long, even if it was like 30 seconds, and then just start driving from like a full stop and the light was still red and stuff, and we'd just go. And I don't know, we just thought it was really fun. And then every time I would say, "Yeah, I made it," and then we'd just start laughing because we were idiots. I was like probably like 24 at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't think I grew up until I hit about like 30. But then I got pulled over with Shay later that night, and me and Shay had some drinks. And so we were over by Oasis. You know how if you're going east and west on that intersection at Oasis, if you're going north and south, the light is always green. But if you're going east and west, it's always red, and you can park there and wait and wait and wait and wait, and the light won't turn green for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'd had some drinks and stuff, and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and I look to my right and I look to my left, and I don't see nothing, so I go. And right as I'm about to say, "Oh, I made it," I see cherries go.
Oh no.
And I'm like, shit, like I'm in trouble now because I obviously went through this red light, and my brother's freaking out. He's like, "You're going to jail. You're going to jail. We're in so much trouble." And I have my window down, and it's a lady cop, and she goes, "So, I pulled you over?" I was like, "Yeah, I ran that red light." She's like, yeah, that's why I pulled you over. Why'd you do that?" I go, "Well, I was stuck there waiting for it to turn green, and it never went green. And I was there, and I was waiting, and it never went green, so I just went." And she's like, "Okay, I'll be back." And so she goes to her car and doing whatever she's doing. And my brother's freaking out. He's like, "What do you mean you just went? You just totally just admitted you did it." And like all it, and like he's freaking out. And then she comes back. She's like, "Thanks for being honest with me. Here's a warning." And she gave me a warning, and I left and I started driving, and he didn't say nothing for about like 2 blocks. And he's like, "God, you're such an idiot. I can't believe that worked." And like we're laughing, but he's calling me stupid, and I don't know, it was pretty funny to me. So that's a different car or a different story about a different car.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really should have grown up sooner, but I didn't.
Nope.
So
Still haven't.
yeah.
Volare.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. It was fun.
And you're still podcasting, right?
Yeah,
You want to do a shameless plug?
sure, if you want me to.
Yeah.
A long time ago, me and Elijah started a podcast called Comic-Con Koozie, but he's doing his own thing now, which I think it's pretty interesting, and I can't wait to listen to the other episodes. So, yeah, but we're still doing the podcast Comic-Con Koozie. It's all with C's. And I don't know. We put out new episodes mostly on Sundays or Mondays, and there's a lot of them. So this last one wasn't very good, the last one we put out.